again, your host with the most. Sorry, guys, we just flipped the switch to on for the mic. So anyways, again, I am Antonio Castillo. I am flanked on my right-hand side by Andrew Richardson, a.k.a. B. Rich. Give him a follow if you want. One of our diehard, our most tenured, most experienced ACH reporter at
AB Rich.
AB Rich 13?
Yeah, AB Rich 13, I mean.
At AB Rich 13
yep.
On Twitter. Give him a follow. So again, welcome into the Alamo City Hoops home office. We are here for the second podcast of the 2021-22 season. We got a loaded show, so let's get right to it. Before we do and give you the reset, B. Rich, glad to have you, man. Hope you're excited and ready to talk some hoops.
Yes, sir. Ready to go. Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties on the Instagram side.
Okay. It looks like, of course. We'll fix the sound, Tavares. Fix it. God dang it. So, okay, well, my apologies. Yeah. Apparently no sound. I don't know what we can do to fix that. Can't hear anything. I wonder why.
Covered.
We'll look into it. Let's see the producer. I don't know what's going on. Hang on one second. Anybody else? Can we hear anything?
No sound?
No sound. Not good. Not good. Well, we're live on the podcast on Spreaker. Well, let me see here. It's not on.
It?
Yeah, let me see. All right. Technical difficulties. Hang on. I don't know why. Sound is all the way up. Anything now? Nope. Nothing. Anybody give me a thumbs up, thumbs down? Anybody? Sound. Can we be heard? No?
Sound?
I guess not. Maybe. Tavares, can you hear anything now? Nothing? No sound? All right, not good. Let me try the feed again. We'll be right back. We're going to pause it for a little bit, folks. Let's see. Anybody? Can we get a thumbs up? Are we getting sound? Anybody? Can anybody hear us? Come on, let me know. Just anybody, throw us a thumbs up. See if we can get that sound.
Yeah, he just said,
see if we can hear it.
Still nothing.
Okay, let me see. We're going to shut the live feed down, and we'll be right back, and we'll launch it one more time. All right, for those of you on the podcast that are listening on Spreaker.com, give us 1 second, and we're going to try and get going here again. I don't know why the audio on the live feed is not coming through, so bear with us. Hang on. See if we can make this work.
It said it was on, and then it cut off about 30 seconds.
Okay, so let's try it one more time and see if we can make this work. Rock and roll. Let's see, B. Rich.
Start it?
Yeah, turn it just a little bit.
This way.
Right there. Okay, we're live again. Let's see now on the IG feed. Can we be heard? Anybody, just let us know. If we can't be heard, our apologies. Man, last week's show was no technical difficulties. Yep. And look what happened.
Show up and then it messed
B. Rich
up.
Jinxed us. He jinxed us. So let's see. Daniel, let us know. Appreciate you joining in. See if y'all can actually hear us now. Any sound? I can't.
He said we good.
We're good. Okay.
We good?
So if we're good, we're good. All right. Back to it, B. Rich.
All right, here we go.
An ACH podcast without any adversity, man.
Oh, yeah,
without any technical difficulties. So,
that's how it is.
The quick reset. So, again, where can you see us? Where can you hear us? Where can you find us? Right now, we are live on Spreaker.com. Go to Spreaker.com for free. Search Alamo City Hoops. We are live on the podcast. If you don't want to look at either one of our ugly faces, B. Rich is definitely more handsome. He's got the full-grown mountain man beard.
Got the fade.
The fade, everything. Then if you just want to be bored to sleep on a long drive, flip on our podcast. You'll be bored to sleep. And give us a listen. If you just want to follow on Twitter, at Alamo City Hoops 1. Right now, we're live on the IG feed. Follow us at Alamo City Hoops. Greatly appreciate it. And we're going to start attempting to mix in with our YouTube feed as well. So if you didn't know, we do got a YouTube channel. Not many subscribers. We'll work on that as well. But that's where we can be found. And if you want to do anything, we have recaps. We're working on some updated rankings for the 23s and the 22s. We are at alamocityhoops.com. Some of our information, the more insider stuff, is subscription-based. But all the recaps we always post as free from our tournaments, from covering high school games during the season. So, again, we greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Looks like we're good to go. Appreciate everybody doing the waves. I think we got our sound. So, with that said, B. Rich, let's go to the rundown for tonight. What we're going to be doing, recapping some basketball games that we've been out the last couple of days. Brennan versus boys. So, last night was strictly, on the schedule. It was just funny it worked out that way, but we did all boys games last night, so we'll be talking about Harlan versus Brandon, Brandeis versus Clark, Maynard versus Rouse, and Cole versus Steele. We had reporters at all four of those games. we're going to take a look back at some of the tournament action that we recapped this past weekend, B. Rich. You were at South San.
Sir.
RB was at Northeast. And I was in the Austin area covering the Nancy Walling Classic, also known as the Pflugerville Classic for the girls' side. Made a stop for a little bit at the Jack Frost, but I was just on empty. So my apologies, everybody in the Syntex. I had no energy left, and the 5-hour energy wasn't working. We'll go around the tri-regions, B. Rich, just like I touched on during last week's podcast. Just mentioned some of the teams as far as how they're looking via the TABC state rankings, see how some teams are doing. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to touch on some of the top 22s who have actually performed to the standard and above it so far, that are still flying, at least when it comes to a recruiting perspective, flying under the radar with no offers, didn't sign early. So we definitely want to give them more of a spotlight if possible on the boys' side. So that's pretty much the rundown. B. Rich, just some quick thoughts, man. Obviously, we got a full load here and ready to go if you are.
Yes, sir. Ready to go. Of course, got some good games, good tourneys. Can't wait to touch on them real quick. Let's do it.
Awesome. So we're going to jump into the first night's game that I specifically was at last night. There was a doubleheader at NEISD Gym. I covered Brennan versus Harlan, what's quickly become a heated rivalry, neighborhood rivals. Literally, if depending where you're at there, on the Culebra side or the Petrenko side, you're going to Brennan, you're going to Harlan. So it's turned into a good rivalry. Coach Jarvis Hall against Dakota Cogill, a.k.a. the Albino Rhino. So in the end, Brennan did actually pick up the opening district win, 64-58. The difference was short and easy. It was 6-7, Robert Jackson. A lot of people may have lost track with them last year. The whole COVID situation, transferring in from Brackenridge, was on the JV. But at 6-7, really established himself down low. Good job by the young freshman backcourt of Kingston Flemings and Camden Cogill, a.k.a. the Lil Rhino. In finding Jackson, finished with 21 points and 11 boards, a double-double. And in the end, Harlan didn't have a matchup for him. Credit to Coach Hall's team, trailing by as much as at one point 15 points, and in the fourth quarter, yes it was, made a heck of a rally in almost like the snap of two fingers. Ryan Garza caught fire, hit 4 3-pointers, Harlan shooting guard, and Roman Chase came off the bench and hit back-to-back 3-pointers to cut it to 3, and then eventually tie it. And that's as close as Harlan would get, 54-54. About 6 minutes left in that fourth quarter. And then Brennan responded, Xavier Boisley. And again, for all the details, we have a free recap on AlamoCityHoops.com. Feel free to check it out. Brennan took control from there. It was a foul game, and the Bears edged out 64-58, beating Harlan, starting 1-0 on the district play on the year. Clark in the next game. Clark really pulled away from Brandeis in the second half. Big lopsided 79-51, 28-point victory for Coach Celestine and the Cougs. Jordan Mason. Two words for you, Jordan Mason. And B. Rich, you've seen him play. Texas State, I think, has really found a good one in him. Finished with 33 points, B. Rich. Yep. And again, Brandeis just didn't have an answer for him defensively. Didn't have the best shooting night, but it's just extremely quick, very well built, and just had his way getting to the hoop. Yeah,
he's one of those guys that, every night you have to plan for him not getting to the basket. He's going to consistently get there. He's a knockdown free throw shooter. So to him, it's a win anytime he can get in the paint, and that happens consistently every time we see him play. It's hard to – even double teams don't do too much with it. So
yeah. So, again, Clark pulled away from Brandeis, 79-51. In another one of our games, over on Fort Sam Houston, RB caught Cole hosting Steele. And I tell you what, I was a little surprised by the score. At one point in the third quarter, Cole was up by as many as 20, and even 20. And they held on to beat Steele by 15, 75-60. I tell you what, Silas YK1, is it Silas YK1? I'm sorry, Silas, I don't have the Twitter or the Instagram memorized yet. But Silas Livingston continues to prove people why he's a Division I signee. 28 points, efficient shooting, 5 3-pointers, multiple assists. Trey Buckets also added 21 points in the win. And as Ray and I were talking, may have had the momentum-changing play of the game as Cole and Steele were going back. About an 8-point game going into the half. And right at the end of the second quarter with the buzzer, Trey Buckets hits a 3-pointer from sort of left wing straight on. And from there, it just opened up. With that shot, Cole was able to take an 11-point into the half and then just surged ahead in the third and fourth quarter, winning that one 75-60. Another game that we were at, and the final one was in the Syntex up in Leander, Northwest. It's not even Austin, just Leander, northwest of Austin. Shout out to Danique, our Syntex reporter. He's been thrown right into the fire, and he's doing a great job. Maynard actually edged Rouse 57-55 on the verge of overtime. Blake Fisher, 6'2" guard, just went to the hole, had the game-winning layup with a few seconds left, finished with 13 points. Excuse me, that was Jaden Bars. Jaden Bars had the winning bucket. Blake Fisher also added 13 points. Coach Swain, my apologies. As you can tell, talking like the Micro Machines guy again. That's a shout-out to you, Kiko. But again, we know the history of Maynard. Maynard has been a very strong program, has been a state representative over the last couple of years. Yep. And B-Rich, that's a tough win because, again, Rouse has some good players with Amari Haywood and then Nazar Mahmoud, who's really risen up the rankings and will be in our 2023 rankings. But just your thoughts overall in general, anything stand out from those 4 games, whether it was Cole winning, whether it was Maynard, Brennan, or Clark?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, the Coles win by 15 definitely opens up my eyes a little bit. As we already talked about Silas, and I think we'll touch on Trey in a minute. Mm-hmm. 2 guys that the guard play is something that's hard to match up with. Consistent ability to hit the jumper. It surprises me, but doesn't with the 15-point win. Yeah. So that's what jumps off the page for sure.
And again, and that's why Cole, when they have that schedule, they go through 3A like a hot knife through butter because all they do is play 5As and 6As, reputable other 4As, very tough 3As. And so, credit to Noe Cantu out there at Cole. Coach Cantu, inside joke from last week, a little more kidding. 403B, baby, 403B. Going on here, guys, we still got 3 more minutes, so not too bad a pace. 3 more minutes to our first break. We're only going 30 minutes, so 2 segments, 1 break. Let's keep it going, though. B-Rich, we were all in the field this past weekend. I covered, in the span of 2 days, 16 games.
It's that grind right there. It's that grind.
And that's why my apologies, going from back and forth from Pflugerville to Georgetown. But in the end, on Saturday, I did wrap up there in Pflugerville. But let's have you touch real quick here. No breaking news here. A team we're going to touch about here in more detail, so touch lightly. But the Antonian Apaches ran through the competition at South San.
Yeah, let's just say one thing we have to touch on when we talk South San Tourney is the hospitality room, by the way.
That's right.
Just one of those unmatched. As soon as you walk in, you got a plate in front of you, man. It's some home-cooked food. It's so great. But, yeah, no, definitely Antonian stood out the whole tournament. They had some close games, but, again, we'll touch on it in a minute. But Xavier Martinez and some freshmen that they got coming up are just made it a huge win for them, and that's their 3rd tournament that they've won. Yeah. Correct?
Yes, they had the Taps opening event down there in the Valley. They won the ACH Classic. Now this one, they'll be at SAISD this weekend, and like you said, we'll touch on it. But they topped Warren 70-66 in the championship game. A couple of other tournaments I was at here with coverage. As we got 2 minutes before we go to the break, I was at the Nancy Walling Classic, also known as the Pflugerville Girls Tournament. Pflugerville top clear book in that one. Tournament MVP was Avery Berry. Very impressive in her performance. Some of the standouts just overall for out that event were a couple of players from Hendrickson. Erica Suarez, an unsigned 22. One of the best shooters in the Tri-Regions, hands down, for Hendrickson. Macy Quiller for Hendrickson also already has a D1 offer from UTSA. And the future is very bright for Aaliyah Chavez out in West Texas. I didn't even know, but looked up some of the ranking services, credible ranking services, and 1 or 2 of them have her as the number 1 2025, not in the Tri-Regions, not in the state, but in the state of Texas. And in the country. I'm sorry. We always say Texas is a country, man. So with all that being said, Aaliyah Chavez, very impressive for Lubbock, Monterey. Even with my glasses, I can't see the comment, so I appreciate whoever's leaving that comment. Is that our boy Alfio? Hey, Alfio, what's going on, man? I can make out the name. I can't see the texts. But anyway, so great action up there at Pflugerville. Those were just some of the players that stood out. Another event that RB was at was the Girls Northeast Independent School District Tournament. And that one, Amarillo topped Johnson in the championship, 63-51. It was a close game from within. We didn't get confirmation. Amarillo was without some players. Nonetheless, Johnson did everything they could, was within 4-6 points for most of the game. Giselle Johnson had a great game, 28 points in defeat. But in the end, the Lady Sandys actually topped Johnson, again, 63-51. And tournament MVP was Briley Barnes. And then just a side note, I did catch some games on Thursday and Friday at Georgetown. However, was just on empty on Saturday and called it a night after 16 games in 24 hours and went ahead and just took a note. Shout out to Coach Beatty and his Lake Travis Cavs for winning the boys side of the Jack Frost tourney. And shout out to the Argyle Eagles, the Lady Eagles from the DFW area, for topping Georgetown 43-26. Tourney MVP was Caroline Lyles. So, B Rich, we're just 1 minute over. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get ready for a break here. Let's go with 60 seconds. Yeah. So for those of y'all that are listening on the feed, please be sure to come back. We're going to take a 60-second break. We still got a whole page of notes left to go through. Come on back. We've got some top 22s to talk about. And we're going to go a look around the tri-regions. We'll be right back in 60 seconds.
Shit is lethal, dog. Who you say you was? Don Corleone. Trust me, at the top it isn't lonely. So they sent me, dog. I just broke her off with a 10-piece, dog. There ain't nothing, I'm just being friendly, dog. It's just a little 10-piece for it, just to blow it in the mall. Doesn't mean that we involved. I just put a Richard on the card. I ain't going playing ball, but I'll show you how the fuck you gotta do it. If you really wanna ball till you fall when you're back against the wall. And a bunch of niggas need you to go away. Still going bad on them anyway. Saw you last night but did it all day. Yeah, a lot of murk caught me in a hard way. But got a sticky and I keep it at my dog's place. Girl, I left you love it magic, not all shade. Still going bad on you anyway. Whoa, 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 whoa. I can feel like 80 rats in my Marys. Me and Drizzy back to back is getting scary. If you fucking...
All right, ladies and gents, we are back. The second segment and final segment, Be Rich.
Yep.
Needed that water, man.
Yeah. We're blowing through it. We're going through it.
Like that, baby. Time is money, money is time. So getting right back to it. Our second segment, Be Rich, we wanted to touch on real quick, and hopefully we got some fans listening. Whether you're just a basketball fan, basketball hoop head, or you have ties directly to the Antonian boys program, or whether you have ties to the Cedar Park girls program. Be Rich, let's go ahead and start with you.
Yeah.
We've seen Antonian multiple times. They had 4 games. The quarterfinal matchup with Cole that went into overtime was a classic right off of the gate. Opening weekend at the Alamo City Hoops Classic. And then the championship game, not as high scoring, but still dramatic end with College Station, where they eked out another 1-point win. But Be Rich, the question is, and it's going to apply to both. So again, just forget the redundancy. Antonian is 17-0. And a quick side note, Santiago Ochoa right now has not been cleared yet to resume playing. We're waiting any day to hear a moment. But as of right now, the TAPS has said timeout. That's not a technical, but timeout. Reviewing something having to do with his participation with the Mexican national team going back to 2018-19. Again, I'm trying to reserve comment, and I will reserve comment. It's mind-boggling sometimes, but nonetheless. So Antonian is without him right now, and he's averaging 22 points a game. So what they've been able to do at 17-0 makes it even that much more impressive. Just your thoughts. Number one, who is leading Antonian right now? And number two, can anybody stop him?
Yeah, so, of course, the first name that comes to mind is Xavier Martinez, a guy that with Santiago can kick the ball out fine, and Santiago's going to knock down the open three. So there's a little bit of concern knowing that he's not there, but they've stepped up. Some key freshmen have stepped up. Isaiah Fox, averaging 15 points and 6 rebounds, has been huge in their win in this South San Tourney. Isaiah stepped up, hit some clutch shots, hit some free throws. Allowed for that. That's important because that allows for Xavier to be able to attack the basket and kick out to someone, as well as he's able to hit that mid range that we've consistently seen. But just the way that he splices through the defense and makes it just look effortlessly is very much so supported by Isaiah Fox. And we also got Knowledge Carter, who's averaging 6 points a game. Yeah. So as consistent as they've been in the past, it looks like their future is still looking bright, Antonio. So
yeah, and you know what? If Santi does come back, which I would expect him, but then again, the high school organized scene, why ask why sometimes? Hopefully it does. But right now, I truly think the only limitation for Antonian would be themselves. Whether that's injury, somebody not available, they hit a cold spell. Not so much, and not to be disrespectful, but they've beaten Wagner in overtime at Wagner. They've beaten Westbury Christian twice. Yeah. Once in the season opening UIL tournament down in the border, and then again in our event. 87-83 double OT was that fantastic finish down south. Mm-hmm. They've beaten Warren in the South San Tournament. So the competition is there. Yeah. They're going through 6A schools on the UIL side. I truly don't see anybody else. Now, possibly, and again, this is We don't know the rosters of DFW. Houston Taps has, with the exception of the Westbury Christians, which are a whole different classification, 4A. But, I don't know unless there's a 6'8", 6'9" monster out there on the private school side that can possibly cause them trouble, because that would be the only thing they don't truly have right now is any interior size.
That is true, but I mean, they did show against Jalen Crocker, who's 6'7". He had like 20, 25 points in that championship game, but they showed that that's not going to stop him.
Exactly.
Playing tough ball, hitting open shots, so that's huge right there.
And shout out to Daniel all day. TX, give him a shout. We've worked with Daniel before. He's right on the key. Isaiah Fox has stepped up for them. And, if Tavares, if you're watching, if we could do the crystal ball emoji right now there on the ACH Instagram, Isaiah Fox reminds me San Antonio Tar Heels. Coach De Leon. For the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen Fox. We've seen Marcus Williams. We've seen Max George, who played for those San Antonio Tar Heels, who were always scoffed at, who were kind of, taken for granted. And Coach De Leon over there has done a great job with that program. Going forward, I don't know exactly if they're going to continue with the Tar Heels. I would assume so. Hey, there's Tavares.
There it is.
He's paying attention.
Yep.
He is awake. So, again, shout out to Coach De Leon. Props where props are due. So we're firmly aware of what Isaiah Fox's capabilities were. But, again, great stuff. Best of luck out there to Coach. You know him as Rudy. I know him as Rodolfo Bernal. So, again, Coach Bernal and his staff, Coach Herb Jackson have done a great job. Moving on, B-Rich, in the same tangent, different side, we're talking Cedar Park. Again, Coach Ott and the Cedar Park Lady Timberwolves. It's a broken record, but it's a great record that we like to listen to. Again, similar to hearing Coach Hurst and Reagan Rattlers always having good teams. But what Cedar Park is doing now is reaching beyond the state of Texas. This past week now in the ESPN Girls Top 25 National Rankings, coming in at 17-0, and they are ranked 22. And I know people are going to say your opinion is biased, Antonio. Not when you see them be one of the top teams in Colorado and Aurora Grandview with 6'7" commit. Lauren Betts signed with Stanford. Not committed, signed with Stanford. When they run through, and it's no disrespect to everybody else on the schedule, but when they have run through, and let me run these off for you. State powers in the state of Texas. You don't mess with Texas, ladies and gentlemen. You don't mess with our basketball. You don't mess with our football and our barbacoa and Big Red down here. So, beating Duncanville, beating Houston Memorial, Summer Creek, Cy Ranch, Westlake, Pflugerville, Wagner, McKinney, on and on and on. There's not a, idea Southside West startup prep or, homeschool of, the 210, 512. No, it is, a brutal schedule. And some of these opponents, if you don't believe us, you can go check on Max Preps, check with the Statesman. They're beating some teams by 30 and 40 points. And these are top 10, top 15 state-ranked teams. This past week, along with Grandview, they dispatched Bella Vista, Arizona Prep. I'm familiar with that. Our boy, shout out to Anthony Ray of Arizona Preps out there on the west coast, the Valley of the Sun. Not so much the west coast, but the desert southwest. He told me about Bella Vista. And Cedar Park beat them by 30 points, holding them to 25. Gisela Mall is all everything. Again, there's no reason why she shouldn't be a top 20 recruit. Shelby Hayes at 6'2" is a low down low, is a beast on the block, great footwork, has a high motor. Rice is getting a heck of a fine with her. Molly Lee, Angie Sacco. Again, just a great job, and shout out to Coach Ott and Cedar Park for the Lady Timberwolves. I truly don't believe they got some competition on their district schedule coming up. Georgetown, Marble Falls, Leander Glen. But I just don't see them stopping Cedar Park right now. They're just a juggernaut, and I fully expect them to repeat as state champions. If not, again, it could be similar to Antonian, something that they do to limit themselves, possibly, maybe not something that another team is going to do.
Yeah.
So again, B Rich, just wanted to touch on those top two teams from the Texas Tri-Regions, boys and girls side. Let's go ahead and now do, again, shotgun blast style, B Rich.
Real quick. We're
going to do our look around the Tri-Regions because we're already down to 5 minutes here left in the show. But B Rich, we're going to start it with you on the girls. Let's just do 6A through the 4A, B Rich, and we're just going to touch on ranking, record, and again, these are the TABC state rankings, not Alamo City Hoops, not the Express News, and these were as of December 6th. So we did update 1 or 2 records, but some might be off by a win or two. Yes. Go ahead, B Rich.
All right, here we go. So here's TABC. Again, as December 6th in Class 6A, we got San Antonio Clark, 14-2, ranked at 6. Ranked at 10, we have Austin High, record of 13-2. Ranked at 11, we have San Antonio Johnson at 13-5. Followed by them at rank 12 is Laredo United South. Record is 17-4. And then Judson we got at 16, 15-3. So that's our 6A. Moving to Class 5A, we have Cedar Park, number 1, 14-0. We have
now 17-0, but yeah.
17-0. Again, this is as December 6th. We have Lubbock Cooper at number 2. They're at 9-0 right now. Pflugerville Hendrickson, they've lost 1, but they're ranked number 5 as of 2 days ago. Georgetown ranked at number 11. We got them at 11-4. Ranked at 14, Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial, 19-2 is their record. Ranked right after them at 15, El Paso Andres at 11-1. At 17, we got Pflugerville, 12-3 is their record. El Paso Chapin at 18. We have them at 15-2 on their record. Ranked 21, El Paso Burgess at 10-2. And then lastly, at ranked 24, Bernie Champion 9-4.
Let me jump in real B Rich. We'll mix it up. We'll leave off there. And actually, we'll let you finish up the 4A. Let's mix it up real quick on the boys' side, ladies and gents, as we're running tight here against the break. Again, TABC rankings as of December 6th could be off by a win or two. We got Harker Heights, surprisingly, coming in at 10-0. CJ Evans, Antoine Gonzalez, and David Punch. A really good three-headed monster there for the Knights, coming in at number 4. Number 10, El Paso Americas, 13-0. Number 11, Bones Lucero, coming in at 12-1 with Austin Westlake. 21, Harlan, who just suffered a setback last night, 11-4. Clemens and Coach Bell coming in at 10-1 at number 22. 23, John Hurst and the Reagan Rattlers at 13-3. 24, Kyle Smith and the Warren Warriors at 10-3. And then Coach Murph and the Round Rock Dragons cracking the rankings for the first time this year at 9-1. Looking at the 5A, B Rich, and we'll toss it back to you here in a second. In the 5A, Bernie Champion coming in at number 8, 9-4. El Paso Chapin and KJ Lewis have suffered 2 more setbacks since we last saw them. Now at 8-3, coming in at 15. Leander Rouse, who fell last night, again in our coverage with Maynard. They are coming in at 8-3, number 16. San Antonio Jefferson coming in at 8-6 at 18. Brownsville Pace, number 23 at 13-3. And then Harlandale, the Indians, the pride of the south side of San Antonio, 7-1 at number 24. B-Rich, run down those 4A for us on the girls' side.
Yes, sir. 4 on the girls. Number 5, we got Fredericksburg, 11-1. At 6, we have Bernie, 11-2. Ranked at 9, we got La Vega, 13-2. 17, Beeville Jones, their record is 9-1. Ranked 19, El Paso Mountain View, 11-4 is their record. And then 23, ranked 23, Rockport Fulton, record of 14-6. So that's the Class 4A side for the girls.
Good stuff, B. Rich. And wrapping up the UIL TABC state rankings on the 4A and the 3A as we wrap up our look around the Tri-Regions. Let's go through them. Somerset suffered a tough setback last night in overtime, losing to Bernie by 2 points. So they are now 11-2 on the season, 7th overall in the state. Bernie, with that win, it's now 7-2, moving up to number 10 in the state. West Oso, down there along the 361, the Coastal Bend, 9-2, number 13 in the state. Lubbock Estacado out west, 5-4, number 18. Waco La Vega, number 22, coming in 5-3 record. And Corpus Christi Miller, back to the Coastal Bend, coming in at number 23, 6-3 record. And then in Class 3A, we got a couple of tri-region teams here ranked. Cole, with their win last night, now moves to 8-6 on the season. Comes in at number 2 in the TABC 3A state rankings. And then we had Corpus Christi London, another Coastal Bend school, getting some love. Coming in number 9 overall at 8-1. Yep. And then the Lido Pirates. Lido. I would ride my bike to Lido, man, growing out there in the sticks. Coming in at 7-3 at number 15 in the latest TABC state ranking. So, again, that's our look around the Tri-Regions. A real quick shotgun blast, ladies and gents, as we're probably going to be pushing a minute or two over here. But with that, we definitely don't want to jeopardize the quality of the podcast. So we're going to dial it down just a minute here for a few minutes. And we're going to talk B-Rich, something we prefaced about earlier. Yep. Just a couple of top 22s who have actually stood out. And again, there is a difference, and we don't have time to go into that minutia of, well, they're a good high school basketball player, but does that mean they transition as a prospect to the next level of college basketball? Are they D3, D2, D1, so forth and so on? Yeah. So 2 guys I want to touch on here, and we got about 7 or 8 written down just quickly. 2 of the better performers. And again, the reason we chose these 2022s are they're unsigned. They've just been playing their tail off, and we're doing what we can to bring a little bit more spotlight and exposure to let people know these unsigned seniors are still out there. So first 2 that we see, we're very familiar with, B-Rich. Yeah. Let's start with there. Trey Blackmore averaging 25 points a game, shooting 40% from the three-point line for Coach Cantu and Cole, and has had at one time, did have a handful of D1 looks. Xavier Martinez, who we touched on already, 19 points a game, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Just some quick thoughts on those 2 prospects or one of the 2, Rich.
No, Blackmore's just been playing with the confidence this season that we like to see. Ability to knock down. He's just hitting shots a lot more consistently. I mean, 25 points per game shows that. 40% from the 3-point line. That's a solid stat right there. So he's just been showing a little bit more consistency, which is what we like to see.
Very much so. And like I said, we touched on X. X is having a great season, tournament MVP. He's shown that he can carry the scoring load as well. How long he can carry it, we're going to continue to see. But he's having a great season. And in all honesty, both kids, I truly believe in the right system and the right fit, they can be lower Division I level 2, lower Division I prospects, possibly maybe more suited for high D2. But both of them can and hopefully will play at the next level.
For sure.
The next couple of kids we're going to rattle off here. Kevin Garcia over at Wagner after sitting out last year with the transfer situation. 16 points and 8 boards, almost averaging a double-double. One that I think has surprised me out of them the most is the athletic 2-guard over at Reagan, Jackson Adams. 15 points a game and 3 boards. A couple others I'm going to name here, B-Rich. And then, like I said, we don't have time, unfortunately, to touch on every single one. But we'll get some overall thoughts. Christian Rodriguez, who went down last night with a minor ankle tweak, we'll hopefully have an update on him, and hopefully he comes back this week, or if not the next, is averaging a double-double. 16 points, 15 boards, and 1 block a game. Aaron San Miguel over at Jefferson, the combo guard, 19 points a game, 7 boards, and 2 steals. And Jefferson, again, expect him to make a run this year, a serious run, because not only do you have to contend with San Miguel, then his teammate and off guard, Joseph Rincon, 26 points a game and 4 rebounds for the Mighty Mustangs. And then certainly, last but not least, Hudson Johnson up the road in the Syntex with Stony Point. He and super soft Josiah Mosley are the reason that program is trending up. And he's bringing in 16 points a game with 2 assists. But it's just so much more. And you saw Hudson this past weekend as well, as Stony Point went 3-1 in a very competitive South San tournament. Just your thoughts on one or two of those guys, B-Rich, on how there are plenty of prospects here that, in all honesty, each one of those prospects has at some point or not at least a Division II grade with us. There are some that realistically may be more Division III, whether it be because of size, maybe not necessarily an elite athlete, but these are kids who can play and help college coaches in the right systems at the right level going beyond high school. Just your thoughts on some of those other prospects we talked about, B-Rich.
Yeah, when I look at Hudson, I saw him play a couple games, very consistent. He just made passes that I just had to check the video and make sure I saw that right. Just one of those guys, and he made 5 threes in the first quarter. Yeah, you heard that right. 5 threes just in the first quarter alone. Just big, just showed up big. A lot of these guys on the list, we've seen stats like that before too. Can shoot the ball. Adams, again, from Reagan, he just has a toughness and a grit to him that you just don't see too often now in high school basketball. So it's good to see.
And he's guys, man. He's got some ups. Jackson Adams will throw it down, and I really like his athleticism, toughness, and can shoot it. If you back off, once he surprises you with his athleticism and deceiving quickness, he's going to drain it on you. He's going to nail it, and he's going to sink it. So, again, just some 2022 prospects from the Tri-Regions. And, again, I wish we could touch on more. We're doing what we can. Again, we're always out there. Every week covering games by the dozens. Believe me, we covered 16 in 2 nights. So, so, again, everything we can do. If we didn't touch on you, we'll try. Tavares, we definitely appreciate it there. Yeah, CJ Evans, who we mentioned earlier from Harker Heights, Antoine Gonzalez from Harker Heights, 2 big reasons why they're 10-0 and now ranked number 4 in the TABC state rankings. I can't remember the last time seeing Harker Heights that high. So, nonetheless, in closing, as we get to the closing, ladies and gents, we're already 4 minutes over. We're going to try and wrap it up for you. Get out of here on this Wednesday night. It is a Wingstop Wednesday, B-Rich. So, for this weekend's coverage, just a little preview, B-Rich. Tell them where we're going to be at, B-Rich.
Yeah, so we're going to be at Reagan. They have a tournament going on, a Reagan Dimebacker Invitational. We got New Braunfels River City Classic. Got Art Rays going up there. And we got Pflugerville Boys Tourney. And I think we got some more coming up, too.
Yeah, we'll have some more notices here as far as we got the SAISD Tourney locally. And any other, we got some individual games that we're going to get to as well. But, again, we'll be to the mat another weekend. And then I think, other than the tournaments around Christmas time, the Christmas week, it'll kind of start slowing down to district competition, which, man, we can take the gear and the shift stick out of overdrive and just downshift a little bit, man. Maybe coast in neutral for a minute or two. But other than that, ladies and gents, as we get ready to get out of here on this Wednesday evening, want to say thank you so much. Again, truly appreciate B Rich here on the ones and twos and the wheels of steel, mixing it up. And again, we're always appreciative of the support, the fans, plenty of interaction on our IG feed. Again, if you missed the entire show, don't want to see our ugly faces, go listen to our podcast at Spreaker.com. Just search Alamo City Hoops will come up. Give us a follow on Twitter. But again, as always, to the hardest working staff and for Be Rich, my name is Antonio Castillo. Thank y'all for all the support here at Alamo City Hoops. We look forward to doing this again next week. So as always, we'll see you on the flip side, or we'll see you ass in the gym. Peace.
See y'all.